Welcome to Ignite Purpose, and this is your transmission to assist you in igniting your purpose, living your passion, and loving your life. I'm your host, Dallas Michael Sear, here to remind you that now is your time. Let's go. I'm here for something bigger. Like there's something I'm supposed to do. What's my purpose? If you're listening right now, you might be hearing an answer you don't want to hear. What if God, all of a sudden, you heard a booming voice from the sky, and God says, Dallas, your purpose is to be a Walmart greeter. Would you be satisfied? Would that be the answer that you're looking for? So welcome to the Transmission, the daily download for your mind, body, and soul. The Transmission. I'm Dallas Michael Sear, and what I'm here to deliver to you is life wisdom. It is business genius. It is daily inspiration. It is performances. It can be anything, but it will be inspired and it will be valuable. And I want to talk to you about finding your purpose today. So welcome to Transmission, your man's on a mission. Pause, sit down, and just take a minute to listen to a little bit of wisdom. Let me get this out of my system. I'm just going to share with you about purpose. Now, I have a brand called Ignite Your Purpose. So clearly, this is something very near and dear to my heart, and I could talk about it at length, ad nauseum, if you really wanted to. And the reason why this has become so clear, I feel, in my experience, one of many reasons, I mean, technically the main reason I believe there's so much pain and trouble in the world is because our perceived idea of separation. Yet another purpose, in addition to that, because what comes out of that is this. The lack of somebody feeling as if they're on purpose, as if they have a purpose, as if they know their purpose. And when we don't feel as though what we're doing has any meaning, has any purpose, then we tend to feel lost. And that feeling of lost leads us to us separating and disconnecting from other people. That feeling of loss or not knowing our purpose, of being lost, leads us to wanting to numb our emotions and whatever it is that we're experiencing, and it leads to potentially drug addiction and things to, again, numb and distract ourselves. That feeling of lost leads to you being in a job that you do not like. In fact, most people end up finding themselves in a job that they hate. So the feeling of being lost, of not knowing your purpose, can lead to a great many ailments. I mean, people will suffer from depression, from just not feeling connected to their own spirit and feeling like they have a purpose and a direction and feeling fulfilled about their life. So here's the truth about purpose. Purpose is not your vocation. Your purpose is not your vocation. It is not the job you do. Imagine that. Imagine if you thought or believed or were searching for the one thing that you were going to do for work that was going to define your life purpose. When you look at it that way, doesn't that sound and feel a little empty? A little sad that my purpose is to be a plumber, or that my purpose for my entire life, freaking human existence, is just the work that I do? So your purpose is not merely your work, although it can be expressed through your work. When I work with people at Ignite Purpose, what I do is help assisting you to ignite the purpose within you. Because I believe that our purpose is to share the divine and unique spirit within you. The way that consciousness wants to be expressed through you, the way that you get to raise your kids, the way that you get to approach work, the way that you get to stop and literally smell the flowers, the way that you do that as the unique expression through you is your purpose. That's why you're here. What if everything is your purpose? What if you're already doing your purpose? Like, how alive would you feel? How good would you feel? How amazing would you feel if you were already doing, living, being your purpose, because your purpose is also not just merely an action. It's not just something you do. It's how everything gets expressed uniquely through you, right? And so there was a time when I was struggling with this. I mean, really challenged. Ever since the age of 19, I was searching the world, like, what's my purpose? Why am I here? What am I meant to do? Please, God, tell me. I feel so lost. And it's sad because it's not just men, it's men and women, but a lot of men suffer from this. And allows them, it creates disconnection in their relationships with their loved ones. It's hard for them to show up powerfully with their spouses and with their kids when they don't have any connection to who they are in the world and what they're here to fucking do, right? It creates, again, depression and the desire to numb and to be small versus to express and be authentic and be open and true to who you are. And so there was a time when I was really searching. I mean, this was a pain on my heart to really know and understand what my purpose was. And I was looking everywhere. Again, looking outside of myself, trying to find something external outside of me that was going to answer the question of what my purpose is. Well, I'm here to tell you, what if you already know it? What if your purpose was never lost? What if it's just a matter of remembering? What if it's just getting quiet and listening for what wants to come through and be delivered through you, and that's your purpose? Do that. Do that. What if that's your purpose? See, there's a great spiritual teacher out there named Adi Ashanti. He's a cool dude, real deal. And I went to go see him live a few years back. And this was when I didn't have this particular brand. I was really struggling with the question, what is my purpose? And I was already coaching. I was already into my third business. And I was already coaching, yet there was something that I felt was missing, lacking. Something I felt was lacking. So I kept asking everywhere, like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And so I find myself in this forum. Okay, this forum here in California, listening to Adi Ashanti, who is what some might call an enlightened master, an enlightened guru here on the planet. And it's day two. It's day two. And people are asking questions on day one and day two. And finally, there's this opportunity to ask a question on day two. And there's something inside me that says, if I don't get up and ask this question, if I don't get up and ask him, like, how do I know what my purpose is, then I'm going to regret it. Okay, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. So I've got to go ask. And so I stand up, I run to the mic. As soon as he offers the opportunity, I'm like person number one. I'm like bolting to the mic. And so I get there and I get ready to ask my question, and I'm feeling inside for, like, how do I say it? And I'm just so nervous, and all the audience is listening. And I ask him, I'm like, I've struggled with this. I felt almost my whole life like I'm here for something bigger, like there's something I'm supposed to do, and I'm really curious about, like, what's my purpose? And he had, truthfully, an answer I didn't want to hear. Because if you're listening right now, you might be hearing an answer you don't want to hear. Truthfully, the answer was, what if God, all of a sudden, you heard a booming voice from the sky, and God says, Dallas, your purpose is to be a Walmart greeter. Would you be satisfied? Would that be the answer that you're looking for? He then also said, what if your purpose is not only merely your work, your vocation? And I can't tell you what got lifted and shifted from that point. I had a conversation with my father a little while ago, and I've only shared this on video only a couple of times in my life, and I don't think he knows that I'm sharing this. But I asked my dad why he left. When I was 11 years old, living in Connecticut, he moved to California. And I drove cross country with him, and I spent summers with him. My dad's an amazing, loving human being. He's my friend, he's my father. He did a wonderful job. I can only hope he knows how good of a job he did and how much I love him, even with all his faults, because we are human. Hello, human experience. All of us fucking live in it. And so Yet, with that being said, I always had these thoughts, my own made-up story, and maybe you've done this in your life. Maybe you've made up some freaking story of why you think something happened versus just asking the person or getting clear. So this is like just a few years ago, and I wrote my dad a letter, and I asked my dad 2 years later, hey, why didn't you ever respond to the letter that I wrote you asking, could we have a conversation? I really want to understand why you left when I was a kid. And he's like, I don't even know what the heck you're talking about. Never got a letter. So that right away showed me all of the stories and BS that I was making up in my head. And then I said, well, took a deep breath. Here's what the letter said, and here's what I feel I'd really like to know from you. When I was 11 and you moved cross country 3,000 miles away, why? Why did you do that? And what he shared with me took what I do for a living to a whole nother level. It took my understanding about purpose to a whole nother level. It took what I'm sharing with you right now and expanded it and blew my heart open, and it blew my mind and even broke my heart a little bit. Because my dad shared with me that at the time, he was lost. He was struggling a lot in the relationship with my mom and just in what to do with his life, and was lost. He didn't, going back to the beginning of this video, he didn't know his purpose or feel connected to his purpose or feel fulfilled, and he was struggling with that, and it was causing pain in his life. And so he talked to my grandmother, his mom, and said, here's the deal, essentially, and just kind of shared it in confidence, because my dad's old generation, as many men are out there, you don't really share feelings, right? So, you don't really share your feelings very much. But my dad, because he is such a beautiful man, once you engage him, he loves me to death. He was like, okay, so here's the truth. And what he shared with me was so different than the story I had made up in my head. So one, it put that at peace. I never really thought it had anything to do with me, yet it really did still put things in perspective. And then to hear him say that right now, over almost fucking 3 decades later, almost 3 decades later, he still feels that way in his life. I don't want anyone feeling that way, because I know that feeling, the pain, the emptiness that creates. And so at Ignite Your Purpose or Ignite Purpose Coaching, what I do is help to inspire you to listen inside for what your purpose is, to reconnect you to your own broken navigation system, to remind you that Spirit is trying to express itself uniquely through you, in you, as you, and to just do that. I don't care if you have a job you hate, do it like you have a purpose. Go to the job that you hate like there's a purpose for it, because it's putting food on your table, because it's putting gas in your car, because it's helping you support your children. Go to work like it's serving a purpose, not like you have to complain about the person in the cubicle next to you, not like you have to complain about how it's not enough money or it's not what you are here to do in the world. Shift that to it has a purpose and you have a purpose. Then I promise you, not only will the job you hate take on new meaning, it will put you in a better place to become more inspired, to be on purpose. And then who knows what career you end up in after that, because of what you feel inspired and called to do when you're in that new mindset. Raise your kids like that's your purpose. Do you understand what I'm saying? Meditate every morning. Meditate and listen to what Spirit has to come through to you, like that's your purpose. Get dressed in the morning and express yourself. I'm wearing a friggin' penguin V-neck. Get dressed in the morning and express yourself like that's your purpose. Do you get what I'm saying? Can I get a heart, a fucking thumbs up, and amen? Do everything like it's your purpose. You are alive. You are alive and breathing. Being alive is so much more than just walking numbly through your life. It's so much more than the car you drive, the money that you make, or the vocation that you have. Do you get what I'm saying? So I hope You love the passion. Yes, my previous business brand, which I plan to bring back in some fashion, I still own the brand and the URL, so you can't have it. It's called Passion Warrior. So thank you, Carrie. I had to become a Passion Warrior for me to then build my second brand, which is Ignite Purpose. But all of the people who watch and follow me are Passion Warriors, and I can get into what that means in another day. But thank you. I'm glad you appreciate the passion. I also hope you appreciate the actual message. Here's the last thing I'll say, okay, on this transmission. It's not enough to hear things anymore. We are not in the same world anymore. We are not in the same place in this universe anymore. The veil is getting thinner. We have broken through. Do you understand? Christ consciousness has arrived. It's time to live as though Christ has returned, because what Christ returning is the evolution of the human race. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Literally. Heaven is within. Literally. And so it's time to not just listen to words like this anymore. I'm not your guru. No one's coming to save you. You can't just hear this, take a note, and be like, oh yeah. What I'm saying is you can't simply just hear it and think you got it. Look at your life. Look at your life. If you got it, if you really get what I'm saying, the results in your life will show. See, this is the thing. Me as an inspirational speaker, me as a life coach, me as an entrepreneur mentor, I love talking about the metaphysical, the spiritual, but one of the benefits that I have is I've got 1 foot in the clouds, 1 foot on the ground. I am the channel from fucking earth to spirit. We need to get grounded. You need to hear these things and apply them. You need to look at your life and say, what's the result? Don't just listen anymore. Apply. It's time to be it. Let's all wake up. I'm here to assist any way I can. I love you. So ignite your purpose. Live your passion. Love your life, ladies and gentlemen. Episode number 3, The Transmission. If you dug it, share it.